Okay, everybody, going to show you my behind the scenes setup of how I made this video and hopefully show you a few things about Nearpod. So I am on my laptop now. My entire screen is being recorded by Camtasia. That's the kicker. If you record just your Zoom meeting, it's only going to record that side of the screen that we're using. Hopefully this will make sense in a minute. So I open up a new Chrome tab. I sign into nearpod.com. Will ask me to sign in with my Google account. And here you go. I have my library. I've got reports. I've got a bunch of things. So I am going to start a live participation. I could do live participation and Zoom, but it's in beta and it's crashed on me a couple of times. So I like to go old school by doing this live participation and then just opening up Zoom on my own. If I wanted to, I could give a link and have students do work through a student-paced Nearpod, and I still have the same great data in the reports over here. So that is an option, but I think with synchronous environment, Zoom and or Google Meet, either one, equally the same in my opinion, soon, because Meet's got some updates, that live participation with a video conferencing is really important. All right, so I'm just going to launch this start a new one. Okay, so now I'm just going to split this screen, throw this over to the right. This is going to be my teacher dashboard. Now I'm going to open up Zoom. I'm going to start a new meeting. I really don't need to join with computer audio, but I want to show you how to shut that off in a second. Let me full screen this for a minute. Okay, so I am going to share a screen, but instead of what we usually do over here, of our screens on our PC, I'm going to come over and click iPhone, iPad, because I have my iPad over here to my left. And I'm going to follow these directions on my iPad. I am going to make sure that I'm on the proper Wi-Fi. You got to be on the same Wi-Fi. I am. I'm going to tap the screen mirroring, which means I need to pull down on the top bit. There you go. So you grab the little like battery, 30% or whatever, and pull it down. Wants you to be exact. And so screen mirroring, Zoom or Lindella, and now as soon as I hit that, boom, you can see my iPad. There it is. I click again with my thumb, kind of down where the arrow is, comes into focus. All right, so from here, I can, as much as possible, see if I can, first of all, we're going to get rid of that because we don't need it. And it hovers around in places I can't stand. So let's get that out of the way. And with this screen, I just want to kind of, it's hard to completely split screen it because it's the iPad. And let me see if this will make a difference. Yeah, it will. All right, we're going to do that. So I move the iPad to go vertically, and then I'm going to reduce that. Okay, so I think this will work. So we've got a couple things going on here. This is a Chrome tab with Nearpod, and I'm about ready to launch this. This is the code, so if students went to join nearpod.com, they would put in this code. Since I have a Zoom going right now, I can also just throw the link in the chat. I can also put the link in Google Classroom. It will ask me which class, pop it right in there. So there's so many different ways I can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here with my thumb and click on that little Nearpod icon there. Opens up Nearpod for us. I think it's going to demand that we go horizontal, which is a bit of a bummer, but I'll just cut off part of the screen. I think you'll get the idea. Okay. So I'm going to type in this code on my iPad. All right, so what happened here is it went to the first page, but it said, oh, shoot, we forgot to ask who this person is. So I'm going to say test student just to keep me sane. Say it was on the iPad. I'm going to join the session. So everything I touch over here, I'm not using my cursor. I'm actually using my thumb on the iPad. It's just mirroring that. All right, so this is the first page of my presentation from over here. And since we have this code all set, I'm going to come over here. So this is the teacher view. This is the code. Someone comes in late and I need to grab the code or share it. I can do that here. If I needed to end my lesson, I could do it there or look at my reports. I can on the fly add an activity. We'll get to that in a little bit. Down in the bottom corner, the number of people logged into the Nearpod. So if you know you have a class of 13, one person's absent, you know you should have around 12 kids in there. All right. You can also see the list, your student list of kids as well. Okay. So these are all of my slides. Don't want to give them away. And since I am Zooming or Google Meeting with my kids, more than likely I'm going to want to hide student names. So everything I show will be anonymous. All right. So these are my ways I can jump to different slides, but this is also how I can go forward with the slide. I'm about to click it, but I want you to see what happens on the iPad over here, because even if we're in the same room and a kid is far away from my, let's say, smartboard, and this is the presentation, they're still in the front row seat. So everybody gets their full presentation on their own device. And this works for phones, iPads, Chromebooks, laptops, all devices. So now I'm going to forward. And again, over here, this would be full screen. Trust me, it is. It's just I'm on my laptop and it's just not the biggest screen. But on my iPad, this is giant and it is not truncated or cut off in any way. So, essential question, how can Google Classroom be better used to help students in both remote and hybrid settings? So this lesson today isn't basics of how to use Google Classroom because we're assuming that we used it in the spring. This is what are the best practices, and a lot of professional development was around that this summer, how to best use it for remote settings and hybrid settings. That's what we're talking about today. All right, so in a minute, we are going to draw something. So on the iPad, it says it's time for a draw it. You will have 3 minutes, and I could make that as long as I wanted, but I want people to feel like they have enough time to think, but not like all day to draw something, you know, because they'll have the ability to draw. Well, let me show you. I'm going to start it over here. As soon as I click that, it counts down simply because there's a timer up here. So how are you today? Circle the emoji you identify with today, or if you'd rather, respond with a school appropriate drawing, because down here there are pens and such I'm going to show in a minute, or an image that you can pop in. You can take a picture of yourself, or a text box where you talk about it. So I'm going to now take my finger over to the iPad, and when I select the blue, I can select all sorts of pens, even a ruler. I'm going to pick blue. If I hold that pen down, I can just, control the thickness of that pen. I'm going to say today I'm feeling kind of like that. So I can also, if I wanted to, because I have a good 2 minutes, I can come over here and I can take a picture from the camera roll. I can get a picture from my drive. So those are all options too. Let's see if I got something in here. Let's take this one, it's a favorite. Okay, so here's an image. Maybe I had something different in my camera roll. I can move it anywhere I want, center it, what have you. And I can even use a text box here. I'm going to make my color red, and I will say, I am doing well. Thanks. Okay, so lots of options. It's kind of expressive. They can choose how they want to communicate with you. So a little bit lighthearted. I'm going to click done over here in the corner. Let's see if I can squeeze this back over so you can see what's going on over here. I'm going to submit that for my teacher. Okay, and then I'm going to move that over just so it doesn't take up the whole screen. Okay. So you would be able to see all of your students and what they're saying or what they've communicated to you. If I wanted to get a closer look, I can blow it up. And again, this is only a half screen, so it would be much bigger on your own screen if it were full size. And if it were, I can, click through to see the different students. But if there was something I really wanted to share with the class, I can click share, and then every device connected on the internet with Nearpod would be able to see that student's work. So now I'm going to unshare that. So it will go back to my original and close it. This is the original check-in of that other student. So anyhow, I created this. I made those emojis. So you can create any slide and then have people write on it. So just so you know. Now watch, as soon as I go forward a button, now I have a poll. So let me just make this a bit bigger. Okay, how comfortable are you with Google Classroom? So I'm going to choose something and submit it. And the second I do that, when I come over here, the teacher can see, again, it's only half the size, but the teacher can see that test student chose B, can see that all these students would have chosen something. So this is the pie chart. It says 100 because it's 100% because only one person did it. But if I had everybody be a power user, I'd probably want them to prove it, but I would be able to move on much quicker. If everybody said I'm a rookie, obviously I would have to go much slower. So just a quick little check-in. It's built into Nearpod, pretty easy to put into any Google slide. All right, so this is the discussion now. We need to talk about best practices with Google Classroom. So step one, I'm going to full size this for now because I think you get the idea that this mirrors this. So let's just have a conversation here. So keeping your stream clean. This is your stream on Google Classroom. I'm going to go down here for the next one in a second. So why would we want to clean up the stream? Well, a cluttered stream shows all the assignments owed, all the assignments that are late. It can cause anxiety. It definitely is not an organized way of showing a student what is due. So I'm going to just pop over here in real time to show you an example. So here's my AP Computer Science principles from last year. And you can see here's my stream tab. It will change. This is a different top tab. And down here, I don't have a laundry list of things that are due or late or missing. So all I have down here is a way of communication. So this is a post that I wrote. I have my stream available for students to post. You might not want that, but it allowed them to take something we talked about in class and find a meme or make something funny. Of course, if it's not appropriate, I can grab it and delete it. Not everybody wants students to post in stream, and that's okay. I understand it's just teacher preference. So, okay, so that's the stream. And if you come over to classwork, this is where it can be all organized by topics, Unit 5, Unit 1. Of course, things changed up a little bit in the spring, but if you look like this, we had Unit 5, performance tasks, Unit 1. This should all be in a better order, but spring was weird. Okay, so with that being said, we have, sorry, go ahead, you're not on the screen. Back to the stream. So how do you do this? You go to the cogwheel. You have to do that for each class that you're in. Scroll down and find information about the stream. So classwork on the stream, you want to hide notifications. You'll be able to see those notifications in the classwork tab, just not in the stream tab. So additionally, for the stream, you want to ask yourself, well, do you want students to post and comment or just teachers to post and comment? So you can decide once you make those changes, come up here and save them. All right, so that's keeping our stream clean. Another good idea is to create a tour of your Google Classroom. So literally just a quick video showing students how you organize your classwork tab and whether or not they're allowed to comment in the stream, things like that. Just a quick video so that there are no guesses as to where things are. You are telling them how to navigate it. And some teachers have a very specific assignment naming. There's a word I'm looking for. But the way to name assignments. And so like I use Unit 1, Lesson 1, Unit 1, Lesson 2. Some people do it by date. It just depends on your content area. All right, so we do want to start using classwork tabs to organize topics. And just going back here, let's see. Okay, so the classwork tab over here would have, for me, today's agenda, Unit 1, Chapter 1, Lesson 1. Why do I have a 1 out here? Because when I go into my drive, which is where I organize everything, I don't really reuse posts. You can do that, but I think it's far more organized just to go into your Google Drive. So everything I have starts with a 1 for Unit 1, Chapter 1, and if it's 1A, 1B, 1C, I know those are resources for this particular unit. But again, totally up to you. But to put things in a topic, you would need to first create a topic. I'm not quite sure I would have a topic called homework, but that's how you make it. And then if you were to pull something in it, you could just drag and drop. Or if you were creating a brand new assignment for homework, you would fill this out. You could add all your elements, like I'm pretty sure you know how to do, determine your points or make it ungraded. The due date we'll talk about in a second, but down here, the topic, this is how you assign where it goes. So if I wanted it to go under homework, I would put it under there under the topic and hit assign. So now you can see there it is. So to eliminate it, delete. And if you want to delete the topic as well, that's how you do it. Okay. So again, think about this. Right now it's September, and by June, all of the topics you will have. So just something to keep in mind. It will definitely help you stay organized. Okay. Due dates and calendar and work owed. A lot of people, when they first started using Google Classroom, was just to distribute and collect, but boy, now things are different. So just one thing about due dates. As soon as you create a Google Classroom, Google automatically creates a Google Calendar. That's called the name of your class. So when you come down here and you put in a due date, let's talk about that for a second. So for this due date here, I'm just going to get rid of it and show you how to make a new one. So you would hit this no due date, change it by clicking here. It will show you a nice little screenshot or a shot of the whole month. You come down, you pick the date that you would like. You can even pick the time that you would like, okay, and then come up and hit save. Now, with that being said, Google Calendar, all right, let me turn this over. Okay, so Google Calendar, as long as they're turned on and off, right, so I've got my Orlandella family doctor's appointment up here, I'm going to turn that off, but these classrooms are turned on. So I can see that this yellow matches this yellow, so that's the same, and this blue matches this blue, so that's the same. I think I didn't close that out properly, but so what this does is for all of your classes, you'll be able to see your due dates. I know as a former English teacher, you never wanted, 5 classes to have long research papers due on the same day. But also as a student, they can see this as well. And so it's just good for time management for them. And I know you can't share or have parents go into Google Classroom, right? Because they can't have their own credentials. However, you can share a Google Calendar. So if you went into settings and sharing, you could share the calendar of due dates with parents. That does not have to be within the same domain. All right. Okay, so making a copy for each student. I think what I'm going to do is show the video for that. I actually emailed it to everybody a little while ago, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Use the question feature for ungraded discourse. So I will be filling this out and that out, but what does that mean? That means if I want to create a question, it's kind of like a nice thread, like a conversation thread. Let's see. Not proper, but that's okay. I can add things here, here. This is the kicker. Yes, I can assign points or not, but I can also have a due date. I can also put it under a topic, but students can reply to each other if I keep this checked, okay? And students can edit the answer after they put it in. So this is just a nice way of allowing, and this is the icon for that, allowing students to have a nice conversation. I'm going to ask Sue Tortorella because I think she's got a really nice, yes, she does. She gets it. She's got it organized. If we go under classwork tab, she has one of those questions here as an entrance ticket. And the reason why I think it's okay to show you is it's all of our teachers. So we could respond to each other. I can come over here and see classmate answers. Okay. And so this was somebody's response. Here, let me just pick this. Okay, so Jerry Gordon said this, and then Sean responded and Jerry responded to him. So when you allow for students to comment on each other's, it's kind of like doing it in the stream, but it's far more organized because it's under one question. I just think it's a really nice, moderately new feature of Google Classroom. So it's good, I think, for building community. All right, so, all right, make a copy for each student. Yeah, we talked about that. That's in there twice. Packaging learning with HyperDocs. That would be, HEP is your go-to on that. Fantastic. And then here is my wrap up with Flipgrid. So I'm not quite done yet. I got to add that in. Otherwise, I think